It's Thursday, February 29th, 2024. Welcome to the Blessors of Israel Podcast. I'm Matthew Dodd, Executive Director of Blessors of Israel. Barbarity, crimes against humanity, genocide. These are just a few of the accusations leveled against Israel after it commenced its campaign to remove Hamas from Gaza in response to the brutal attack on Israel on October 7th of last year. An attack which resulted in the murder of 1,200 people, the burning and beheading of babies in front of their parents, the barbaric rape of women and young girls, and the kidnapping of 240 people. Tragically, Reuters announced today that 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since the IDF embarked on defeating Hamas, so that the terrorist regime would never pose a threat to the citizens of Israel again. Now, of those 30,000 deaths in Gaza, Israel estimates that 12,000 were Hamas terrorists, along with another 1,000 terrorists who were killed on October 7th. But Hamas claims that only 6,000 terrorists have been eliminated since that horrific Saturday last October. This last Sunday, Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, was interviewed about Israel's war against Hamas. It was on CBS's Face the Nation. Regarding the status of the war, and specifically the IDF's operation in Rafah, which is located in southern Gaza, Netanyahu said, and I quote, "Once we begin the Rafah operation, the intense phase of the fighting is weeks away from completion. Not months, weeks away from completion. We've already destroyed 18 of the 24 Hamas terrorist battalions. 4 of them are concentrated in Rafah. We can't leave the last Hamas stronghold without taking care of it. But understand, too, that I've already asked the army to submit to me a double plan. First, to enable the evacuation of the Palestinian civilians in Gaza. And obviously, second, to destroy the remaining Hamas battalions. That gets us a real distance towards the completion of our victory. And we're not going to give it up. If we have a deal, it'll be delayed somewhat, but it'll happen. If we don't have a deal, we'll do it anyway. It has to be done because total victory is our goal, and total victory is within reach. Not months away, weeks away, once we begin the operation." Close quote. Now, please notice what Netanyahu said. Israel is weeks away from defeating Hamas once it begins the Rafah operation. But it's seeking to protect and preserve the lives of innocent women and children in Gaza as it pursues victory. Barbarity? Crimes against humanity? Genocide? Clearly, these are false accusations. In fact, John Spencer, chair of Urban Warfare Studies at the Modern War Institute at West Point and co-author of Understanding Urban Warfare, recently praised Israel's efforts to minimize civilian casualties while seeking to defeat an entrenched enemy. Spencer observed, and I quote, "Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza has inevitably drawn comparisons to other battles or wars, both modern and from the past. These comparisons are mostly used to make the case that Israel's operations in Gaza are the most destructive in history, or the deadliest in history. Yet, while the use of historical analogy may be tempting for armchair pundits, in the case of Israel's current war, the comparisons are often poorly cited, the data used inaccurate, and crucial context left out. Given the scale and context of an enemy purposefully entrenched in densely populated urban areas, as well as the presence of tunnels, hostages, rockets, attackers that follow the laws of war while defenders purposefully do not, and proximity between the front lines and the home front, there is basically no historical comparison for this war. The truth is that Israel has painstakingly followed the laws of armed conflict and implemented many steps to prevent civilian casualties, despite enormous challenges. Israel's military faced over 30,000 Hamas militants in over 400 miles of defensive and offensive tunnels embedded in and under civilian populations. Protected sites such as hospitals, mosques, schools, and United Nations facilities across multiple cities. Close quote. Now, the same cannot be said when it comes to Hamas and how they view and value the lives of innocent women and children living under their iron fist in Gaza. Before you question what I just said, please listen to the confessions of the notorious Hamas leader, Yahya Sinwar. Today, it was reported that Sinwar is quite pleased with the progress that Hamas has made in its effort to defeat Israel and to lobby the world to champion its cause. He sent a message through a courier to the terrorists hunkered down in the network of tunnels under those hospitals, schools, and mosques and United Nations buildings in Gaza, and also to any terrorists who are hiding among the civilians in Gaza. Listen to this message of hope and encouragement from the leader of Hamas to his entrenched warriors. Sinwar said, quote, "Don't worry, we have the Israelis right where we want them." Now, when I read those words, the first question that comes to mind is this: what does Sinwar know that Netanyahu does not know? I also want you to do this. Compare what you're about to hear from Sinwar with what Netanyahu said this last Sunday. Speaking of the casualties in Gaza, Sinwar said, and I quote, "High numbers of civilian casualties are one of Hamas's main goals in the war, since such numbers would increase international pressure on Israel to end the fighting, after which Sinwar will be able to come out of hiding and announce Hamas's victory and continued rule in Gaza." Barbarity? Crimes against humanity? Genocide? Clearly, Sinwar and his followers are willing to do whatever it takes to defeat Israel, from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, even if that means using innocent civilian women and children in Gaza. And yet, it's Israel. Israel is the one who is continually accused of being barbaric, of being genocidal maniacs. This is nothing short of pure evil. It's demonic. And it's my prayer that these lies will be revealed as the truth shines its light upon them. Now, in times such as these, it's important for us Christians to remember that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is still on the throne. He is the God who sees all, hears all, and knows all. Nothing escapes his watchful eye. And I am confident that our God is answering our prayers for Israel in her hour of need. But I also ask that you will join me in praying for the innocent women and children in Gaza, that God will shine his light upon them and draw many to saving faith in his Son, Jesus Christ. For our God is mighty to save. To receive the latest news concerning Israel with biblical commentary, visit our website at www.blessors.org. That's Blessors with an ORS.org. Please subscribe to our channel on this platform and make sure you like this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Getter. We also appreciate your prayers and ongoing financial support as we build this new, important ministry. Thanks again for joining me. Remember, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Shalom, shalom.